You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Rob Anderson and Jason Brown.
Good Thursday afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Rob, for waking me up from my nap to record this podcast.
The thunder woke me up, so I was able to give you a nudge.
I appreciate you getting us down here on time.
Yeah, no problem. Well, tomorrow there's a lot going on this week, but I think maybe one of the more important things is the NCAA baseball tournament. Razorbacks tomorrow are in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Okay.
They're playing Grand Canyon. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I didn't know the Grand Canyon had a team. Good for them.
Sleepy schools like that are the ones that show out in baseball.
Yeah. Well, they're a number 3 seed. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
How about that? How about the Grand Canyon?
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not saying people should tune in. While I think the game starts at noon, we'll be busy at work, so we were going to miss that.
Yes, of course.
But, if you have time, tune in for that. Speaking of busy things, and next week we're going to be busy, and we will not be here in the studio next week.
That's right. We are traveling to a communications conference with American Farm Bureau, and so we will not be here. But before we go any further, I want to welcome our PR intern, Aiden Massey. She's in studio with us today. And we're so glad you're here. And thanks for sitting in and joining us for the Arkansas AgCast.
Yes, nice to have you here.
But
Welcome aboard.
No Arkansas AgCast stream next week.
That's right. We will not be live on Thursday. We will have some audio. I believe a feature on Arkansas Agriculture Hall of Famer.
Yes, a timber industry pioneer, R.R. Reynolds.
Yeah.
He pioneered in many ways. One of the ways he innovated the timber industry as a whole, not just in Arkansas, was developing the truck method of bringing timber out of the woods, out of a forest once it's cut.
Yeah.
And then algorithms to sort of measure, calculate the amount of timber in an area and how often that timber could turn over and be harvested, which is, as I'm told, is still used in app form today, the algorithms that he developed back in the 30s and 40s. So really cool storytelling. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not with us any longer, but Kim McDonald, his grandson, is, and that's who I talked to about his grandfather's career and life.
Yeah, and it's obviously an interesting story for someone like that. So that will be out next Friday, all the usual podcast locations, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff.
That's it.
I got to say, I will never be known for an algorithm. I will never.
You and me, but we work in public relations, so we're automatically banned from that.
That is
correct. Speaking of looking ahead, we are working on, as a matter of fact, Matthew's not in studio with us today because he's out working on this. We're working on our episode. If you don't know, we have quarterly episodes on RFD TV, and we are working on the next episode right now. The theme of our episode will be farming from the air.
It's a very cool thing.
It really is. It airs on June 11th at 4 p.m. On RFD TV. And I'll just tell you, so I know we've been out to visit aerial applicators in airplane form, what probably most of us know. I got to go visit and have one of the coolest experiences of my agriculture career this week and got to see a helicopter application, and that was really cool.
It's worth watching just for the story of the helicopter. It's a helicopter that's been through. It's seen a few things.
It's seen duty, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And then some of the team went up to Mark Tree, I believe, and saw a spot application from a drone.
It's a pretty big drone, right?
Yeah. Oh, you were there. That's right.
Yeah, it was huge.
Big.
Yeah, very big.
So we've got traditional airplane. We've got a Huey helicopter, 1968 Huey, and then drone application. Am I missing anything?
No, it was the drone was a DJI drone.
Really?
But, ours is tiny.
It's almost pocket size.
This one would have, the wingspan, it was beyond where your seats are.
Wow.
It's big.
So learn all about that on that episode of RFD TV on June the 11th. The reason we're telling you today is because we won't be on air, as a reminder, next Thursday. So we want you to make plans. I believe that's
Mark
a
it
Saturday
now.
afternoon.
Put it on your phone calendar, whatever you need to do. Just be there on Saturday.
Yep, that's right.
Speaking of being there on TV, we are going to be launching a new regular appearance on The Vine, KTHV, THV 11, The Vine.
Is that the morning show at 9 a.m.?
Yes, mid-morning
show.
We'll be on there starting June 13th. We'll have a little segment on there, and you'll probably see some of our television commercials, some stuff promoting Arkansas Farm Bureau and what we do and who we are, and that's what we're going to talk about in that first segment. Just a little teaser, but there's going to be some fun stuff too. So
let me guess. Is Jenny getting to do this?
I believe she is, yes.
I knew it, man. She's a star of
She's
the
our
show
TV
around
star.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. All right, well, cool. So June the 13th, The Vine.
Mm-hmm.
We're throwing all kinds of. I hope you've got your calendars out or a notepad because we're throwing all.
We got a lot
kinds
of dates today
stuff.
and stuff.
Yeah. And then next week is Arkansas Farm Bureau Foundation Week. Also important to tell you that now, mainly so you can get ready, but
That's
also.
right. But I will be talking about that a little bit later. There's a lot to talk about there. It's a big thing for a really important cause here at Arkansas Farm Bureau. So.
Well, I don't want to steal your thunder, so we'll keep going. But we have talked about the trap shoot a little bit. I'm sure you'll mention that.
Yes,
and
there's plenty of thunder today, so don't worry. Take all you want.
Well, how about we get going with the news?
That's a good point. Let's get rolling with an important update for Arkansas growers. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's National Agricultural Statistics Service, or NASS, because it's no fun to say National Agricultural Statistics Service, that's hard, is conducting two mid-year surveys, the June Agriculture Survey and June Area Survey. For this effort, they're contacting nearly 1,700 producers in Arkansas to determine acreage and stock levels as of June 1. They will also collect information from farmers and ranchers from randomly selected land area segments across the state. The June Agricultural Survey and June Area Survey are two of the most important and well-known NASS that NASS conducts, and the results are used by farmers, ranchers, by the USDA, businesses, reporters, researchers, policymakers. There's a lot of important decisions that rely on this data. And as Farm Bureau's Director of Commodity Activities and Economics, Mark Lambert told me, these surveys are strictly voluntary, but they help sway future markets through speculations and hedgings, as well as decision makers for any policies that may come. The more accurate the data they receive from the surveys, the more it helps align with the industry speculation to minimize these swings in futures market for new crop prices. So these surveys play an important role across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
NASS will analyze the survey information and publish the results in a series of USDA reports, including the annual acreage and quarterly grain stocks reports, which will hit June 30th. Survey data also contributes to NASS's monthly and annual crop production reports. Producers can respond to the June Agricultural Survey online at agcounts.usda.gov. That's agcounts.usda.gov. By phone or through the mail. If you need more information on this, you can call the NASS Delta Regional Field Office at 800-327-2970.
Yeah, it's very important, as you've underscored for us, to get this data in. It's anonymous and helps with a lot of decision making. At the federal.
And it's
level.
important decision making too. That has a wide impact. So.
Yeah, that's right. Well, moving on from USDA, we've got big news from the U of A Division of Agriculture last week, making the news with a new leader, officially official.
Yes, officially official.
Technical
I like
term. The U of A's Board of Trustees confirmed Dr. D.Q. Fields as Vice President for Agriculture on Wednesday, May 25th, based on a recommendation by System President Donald R. Bobbitt back in April following a national search. This is why I say officially official. This has been floating around since April. Dr. Fields will be the new leader for the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture. He's currently serves as Dean of the Dale Bumpers College for Agricultural, Food, and Life Sciences and will begin his new role on July 1. Fields was appointed Bumpers College Dean in 2017. He came to Arkansas after serving as professor and chair of the Department of Agricultural Economics and Rural Sociology at Auburn University, a role that he had held since 2013. So congratulations to Dr. DQ Fields, the university. Got a heck of a leader there.
Absolutely.
Glad to see it.
Time flies because I remember when he got here.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And moving from the U of A to the Arkansas Department of Agriculture, the Arkansas Department of Agriculture and Arkansas Department of Energy and Environment will be hosting a fire policy forum June 15th through 16th in Little Rock to address fire policy, prescribed burning, and they would really like to have farmer involvement. This has been an issue that's been on the table for a while, lots of discussion about handling these things, and they really want farmer participation here. The event will include speakers from the departments as well as universities, the U.S. Forest Service, the National Weather Service, and more. Forum will focus on a discussion of the connections between land management using prescribed fire and air quality, with information on the benefits and best practices for conducting prescribed burns in forestry and agricultural settings. They'll also discuss the state's voluntary management guidelines that can help reduce or eliminate smoke impacts to downwind communities. This is a great chance, again, for farmers to be heard and be a part of this discussion. So if you're interested in attending, you must RSVP with David Clarke of the Division of Environmental Quality. You can do so by emailing him at clarked@adeq.state.ar.us. It's one of those state addresses, so I'm going to read it again. clarked@adeq.state.ar.us. And again, just let him know you're interested in attending. Should be an interesting forum. Again, Arkansas has a lot of voluntary best practices and guidelines for this sort of thing, but they're going to be discussing all of that and how to handle the prescribed burning and issue. And it's one that we've been talking about for a while. So
yeah, guys, we want to be at the table on this kind of stuff,
right?
We want to make our voices heard and make sure people understand why we do what we do. This is one of those opportunities. So please get involved in this one. June 15th and 16th.
And I said that's in Little Rock, but to be specific, it's at the UA Division of Agriculture, Cooperative Extension Service offices on South University. That's 2301 South University. Mm-hmm. So if you're planning to be here, again, do the RSVP, and then plan to be here in Little Rock on 15th and 16th.
Yep. A very important conversation. Well, now we'll turn to a really interesting story in the world of research as it pertains to water and ag production. This story's been floating around all week, so if you've already seen it, I bet it caught your eye, because the minute I read it, I was like, what in the world is that about?
It's popped up in my Google News alerts and all that, so
yeah.
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah. Sarah Orlowski, assistant professor of poultry science at the university, is working toward developing chickens that can thrive on limited water. Why, you ask? Well, in a world with shrinking freshwater resources for a growing human population, an opportunity to improve water use efficiency in the world's #1 livestock animal, chickens, might be a huge advancement.
Pretty important here in Arkansas, too, chickens.
Yeah, no doubt. Sarah's research is part of a 5-year multi-institution project funded by a nearly $10 million USDA grant awarded through the National Institute of Food and Agriculture and Food Research Initiative. According to a United Nations report, about 4 billion people, roughly 2/3 of the world's population, experience a scarcity of fresh water for at least 1 month each year. The report states that the strain on safe water will increase greatly as the population reaches an estimated 9.7 billion people by 2050. A growing population will result in a mounting demand for protein at the same time that freshwater resources are declining. Orlowski's goal is to develop chickens that consume less water without reducing weight gain. To learn more about this project, and there's a lot more to learn here. We're just covering the basics. To learn more about this project and other Division of Agriculture research, visit aaes.uada.edu, or I bet you can just Google water efficient chickens and look for Sarah Orlowski's name.
You'll find it. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it was a really cool read.
Yeah.
So anyway, check that out. Really, really interesting research going on here in the state. I believe it's a partnership project with Cornell University. So it's really cool that we've got a seat at the table here. Well, we've done quite a bit of news. How about we take a break really quickly to learn how you can be a champion for your community?
Your Arkansas Farm Bureau membership supports our work on behalf of Arkansas farmers, ranchers, and rural communities around the state. From youth leadership programs and academic scholarships to hunger relief and disaster support, and much more. You can make a difference and be a champion for your community. Join today at arfb.com.
We're always following this. Our little break, we usually follow out with an example, of what's going on. We talk about, share this message of being a champion in your community. We usually highlight what's going on in the counties.
That's right.
Across the state, and that's a natural thing. But this week, we shouldn't leave out the important role that Arkansas Farm Bureau Foundation plays in helping both agriculture as a whole and local communities throughout the state. The foundation provides grants and funding for a variety of important initiatives, whether it's youth leadership and development programs like FFA and 4-H, or the MASH, Medical Applications of Science for Health, programs. That's summer camps that offer kids around the state a chance to explore careers in the medical and healthcare field, or even natural disaster relief after tornadoes and floods. The foundation is supporting all of those things, and it's really critical to everything that Farm Bureau does. Well, next week is Arkansas Farm Bureau Foundation Week. You hinted about that at the top of the show, and we talked about some of the stuff going on. Foundation Week is really where we're going to be highlighting some of these important efforts through Arkansas Farm Bureau social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it. This month, the foundation is trying to hit a goal of raising $4,000. So we encourage you to head to arfb.com/foundation to make a donation. Let's get this ball rolling, because you heard about, I teased some of those things that the foundation is involved with, but it really is critical to this whole effort to be champions in local communities. Whether there's, last year we've had flooding, we've had tornadoes. Foundation is always there, trying to help out after these things happen, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more need, and the foundation needs to continue its mission, and then it's on top of supporting agriculture and farming and educating people about that, and all the youth leadership efforts. You watch our social media channels all next week for examples and highlights of the difference the foundation is making in rural Arkansas and all around the state. And on Friday, we'll be posting and updating live from the foundation's annual Trap Shoot fundraiser, which is always fun.
Yeah.
And it's good to be live there, because it's nothing like watching some people blow some things out of the air for a good cause.
Yeah.
And it's benefiting the Arkansas 4-H and FFA programs. There's a lot of really skilled kids out there. They're very enthusiastic. It's a fun event. And let's hope for the best weather next week. But that's a great event, and it really it's all serves to highlight the importance of the foundation here in Arkansas.
I dropped a donation off by the foundation this week, trying to get us in.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get us in on the trap shoot.
Yeah,
we're still not.
That would have been embarrassing.
We're still,
I hope you.
Yeah.
I hope you failed. Sorry.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't let us in.
Okay.
Lucky for us.
Yeah, I believe registration is over for teams.
That's what they said. I was too late, but they gladly took my donation. So.
I don't doubt that. Yeah. It's needed, so I feel good about that.
Yeah. Well, moving on to a couple more stories this week. we've been covering the planting progress in Arkansas each week. Of course, we'll continue to do that this week. After an absolutely beautiful Memorial Day weekend where farmers spent time working in fields and pastures, at least where I was traveling through here in the state, we have some rain moving through the state this week, as evidenced by the clapping thunder outside
I don't know
the
if
studio
we've heard
right
any
now.
during the show, but man, there was a lot right before we came on.
Yeah, that's right. So, with this rain, of course, an added challenge is farmers are trying to wrap up planting on a few commodities. So let's just see how we're doing real quick. As of Sunday, we've planted, and if you don't know this, what we report comes from the USDA weekly planting progress report. It's put out on Sunday for the week prior. So the data, if you're sitting at home saying no, we're done planting, soybeans, then I apologize, but we have to go on what the USDA tells us. So as of Sunday, we've planted 78% of the soybean crop, inching towards the finish line there, and seeing nearly 70% of the top of the crop emerged already. And we've planted around 90% of the state's cotton crop as of this week. Should be closing that out soon. Rice planting is also winding down with only about 7% left to go as of this past Sunday. As I mentioned, I traveled to NEA this week, Northeast Arkansas, for those of you. Yeah. And we're starting to see quite a bit of rice standing now in that part of the state. I even saw some knee-high rice out around Cache up there. The corn crop is completely planted, with nearly all of the planted acres emerged now. So it's one of the things we were worried about a few weeks ago. And then peanut planting is coming along a little slowly, but we do have 80% of the crop in the ground, according to the USDA report. Just wanted to also drop a note in here telling you that our PR team is working on crop updates for each commodity. We'll probably wait until we're at least to the 100% planted point for each commodity. But we'll be going around to the university crop specialists and asking them to tell us, like, what are some of the challenges that we've seen, what's the outlook for the year, some tips for farmers who need to, where they might want to make applications and things like that.
Right.
So that is coming in the next few weeks, but we probably will, wait until the 100% of the crop is planted. But if you're seeing unique challenges in wrapping up planting, please let us know in the comments of this video or this live stream, or you can email us if you're listening on the podcast. We want to hear from farmers on this topic and other issues that may be impacting you. And just a reminder, if you are not a farmer, know that farmers remain incredibly busy right now. Please keep an eye out for farm equipment moving in traffic, especially on county roads and rural highways across the state.
Right.
It's utterly important for both your safety and the safety of farmers. Just know that equipment doesn't always operate like the equipment we drive, and so give them a little bit of time and patience on the road.
And they're dealing with that, when they've got to get from field to field, and sometimes that equipment's pretty large. They have to do what they have to do. We drive through Southeast Arkansas a lot, visiting family and my wife's family. We almost always see something, and I've learned, this is part of the deal down here. This is fields and usually looking beautiful at different times of year, but that's what they've got to do, and they got to be on the road, and you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, that's right. If we want to eat.
That is very true. And speaking of, we're going to move from major crops to something a little smaller scale, but a few updates here. There's actually a good bit of news from the Farm to School and Early Childhood Education Program at the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. First, the deadline to enter the Arkansas Grown School Garden Contest is coming up fast, as in June 5th fast. That's very soon. Applicants may be any school, early childhood facility, or alternative learning environment that had a school garden during the 2021-2022 school year. Prizes range from $500 to $1,000, so get those entries in. There are also some opportunities for educators looking for funding for agriculture education and school gardening efforts. The Christina, Sioux, Leah resource grants. These were once called the White Reinhardt resource grants from the CSL Foundation, which was founded to carry on the legacy of Christina, Sioux, Leah, Sorry, I may have mispronounced that the first time. Leah, the late director of the American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture. These grants provide $100 in credit to purchase ag literacy resources from the American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture store. The deadline to apply is June 30th, and you can find out more at the American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture website, which is agfoundation.org, agfoundation.org. There will also be a webinar on June 14th that's focused on securing funding for school gardens. That could be helpful to some of the educators out there. To register for that, you can go to crowdcast.io/kidsgardening. crowdcast.io/kidsgardening. Again, I think we're going to have to recommend people keep notepads or laptops or something so they can keep track of all the addresses, dates, and everything that we're giving them. But these are all good things. If you're an educator out there and you have an interest in ag education, school gardening, a lot of good things coming up.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, no matter if you watch or you listen to us, it comes with a pause button. So
it does indeed.
Use it. But yeah, we've got ag educators in the building this week. Yeah, today, I think.
It was an impressive setup, too. Lots of cool equipment.
I heard something about flames somewhere.
Yeah, we're
part
supposed
of the
to
process.
talk about that. I don't know.
It was probably hearsay. I doubt it was true.
It's all very safe.
But, yeah.
But, there's a lot of cool equipment. I walked through there this morning. Different growing things and different mechanisms, aquaculture, tomatoes, and an aerator. It was very, very fascinating. So it's very cool stuff, and a lot of good things going on with the ag education program.
Well, that's cool. Good to hear it. And these gardens are important for a whole lot of reasons at schools. Well, last story of the day before we get into Brian's world famous This Day in History. We've got news for Arkansas farmers looking to capitalize on regenerative agriculture practices being implemented in your operation. So certainly not a program for everybody in Arkansas, but some may find some interest in this. Cargill has announced an expansion for a commitment it made in 2020 to advance regenerative agriculture practices across 10 million acres in North America by 2030. In 2022, the program expanded, and that's what this announcement is about, expanded to add another 15 states, including Arkansas. There are several other southern states included in that expansion as well. Cargill's Regen Connect program seeks growers who want to choose their own practices and enroll on a year-to-year basis. Enrollment is through September 16th, and eligible practices include cover crops, reduced tillage, and no-till. Eligible acres must have a primary crop of corn, soybeans, or wheat. Farmers can choose the best practices suited to their operation's unique growing conditions. For the 22-23 enrollment, Cargill is offering $25 per metric ton of carbon sequestered per acre. For more information about the Regen Connect program, visit CargillRegenConnect.com.
All right. Now, drum roll.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. I mean,
I'm ready.
You guys have been just yak.
I tried to focus on the script.
Everybody's waiting
the whole time.
They're waiting on this.
Does this feel like a vacation for you this week? Like last week as being a co-host?
It does a little bit. Yeah. It was a little stressful watching all the buttons and stuff.
Well, like I said, you're doing buttons, iPad, video, all that, plus you're reading the news.
I slept better this week.
He makes our jobs look really easy. People now know just how little it is we do, Rob.
But just, hardest thing we do is make sure our mouth is close to this.
Right,
right.
Exactly.
That's right. You want to make sure everyone can hear you.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Well, speaking of baseball, you guys kicked off with baseball, so we can end with some of it. June 2nd, 1935, Babe Ruth announced his retirement.
Okay. Wow.
Remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah. And at age 27, Elizabeth II was coronated as Queen of England.
Wow.
In 1953.
So
Is
they're
that
having the
the-
big Jubilee
Is
celebration.
that why the
and-
Queen's Jubilee is this week?
Probably.
Is that a
so.
coronation?
I would
Correlation?
Yeah.
Look at
Good
you!
stuff.
Look at you! Oh, I'm sorry, I was a little low.
Thank you.
A little slow.
Thank
there,
you.
But
We'll look for all the comments from our London viewers,
Yeah.
our UK viewers.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. They'll be making little comments.
I'm sure.
So
All right. Well, there we
Yeah.
go.
that's about all I got.
No, that's a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one. Stanley Hill came to the meeting yesterday well prepared for some June the 1st on this day.
I am sure he did. Sure
Yeah,
he did.
he had
It's
quite a
hard
few.
to fill those shoes. So
Well,
I wouldn't even want to try.
how about that?
How
You've done
about that?
pretty
How about
good.
that, indeed.
All right. Well, that wraps up the news for this week and the on this day for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch the live stream every Thursday at 2 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you turn on your notifications to get alerts when we go live. Listen to the audio version later on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And as always, the Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau and hosted by me, Jason Brown, and Rob Anderson. Our show is produced by Brian Pistol and Matthew Magdafrau, and this week our special guest, Aiden Massey.
Just a reminder, we will not be on the air next week. Catch us again on June 16th when we return with the Ag... I don't know.
Ag news that matters
Yes,
to you.
thank you. I think we had an issue there with the printer. That matters to you, the farmer. Until then, right before we sign off, I do want to remind you we will have an audio AgCast next week interview with Arkansas Ag Hall of Famer. Until then, we're signing off.